had no cause to be awake. My best was gone to sleep and mourn, and who politeness took and failed to wake them up, but called the others, clear and passed their curtains by, sweet morning, when I oversleep, knock, recollect, to me. I looked at sunrise once, and then I looked at them, and wishfulness in me arose, for circumstance the same. 'Twas such an ample peace, it could not hold a sigh. 'Twas Sabbath, with the bells divorced, 'twas sunset, all the day. So choosing but a gown, and taking but a prayer, the only raiment I should need, I struggled, and was there.
My name is Corey, and I work at Mud House. I actually started the job during my 4th year in college. About halfway through, I needed a job, and I chose to work there because I thought it always had like a really cool vibe, and I loved the coffee there, and I wanted to learn more about coffee, and it seemed like a good job for learning and not just doing a job and clocking in and out. And it was also like a way to get to know people outside of the UVA community, because I felt like I hadn't really done that, and I was planning to stay in Charlottesville, so knowing people outside of UVA seemed like a good idea.
I'm Jacqueline, and I'm a 2nd year at the University of Virginia. I'm hoping to pursue a double major in English and studio art. A lot of mornings I like to paint before the sun comes up, or as the sun is coming up.
Hi, my name is Kate Martin. I started riding horses when I was 8 years old, and I am currently the president of the Virginia riding team. I ride every single day. I tend to get out there between 7 and 7:15 every morning, and I ride my own horse as well as other horses to practice for IHSA, which is the division we compete in for college.
I usually wake up somewhere between 5:30 and 6, depending on how much I have to do to get ready in the morning. But I like to wake up early, so it's not that hard for me, as long as I've gotten enough sleep. I like getting a lot done before the day really starts, so it's cool because when I start that early, I get off at like 1 o'clock, and so then I kind of have the day to do what else I need to get done. But I also like mornings because you get a few moments of quiet where like no one really has access to you because they're all sleeping. If you need like solitude before the day starts, the mornings are a great time to do that. I'm sort of an introvert, as much as there is a scale on that, and I think everyone's kind of a mix, but I really like to spend time alone, and it's good for me, and I like my days are lived out better if I do that. But it's hard when you wake up at say like 10 o'clock and everyone else is already woken up and they have a lot of energy and would want to talk to you and things like that, but you're not necessarily ready to do that. And then it's also like, just if you have to wake up and immediately get right to what you need to do for the day, that can be kind of hard too, because then it's the end of the day and you can say, it's okay, like I'll just have my alone time when I get off of work. But that might not ever come, because then there are people awake and they're like vying for your time and you want to give it to them. So it's like a mix of your temptation versus that availability being there at all makes it harder in lots of ways. Our mission statement at Mud House is like create good feeling, and we talk about doing that by like waking people up happy, and it's nice to start that even before I get to Mud House, because it's like the city is waking up like as I'm doing that. And so it's funny because sometimes people will feel bad about complaining. They'll be like, oh, I'm so tired, and they're like, wait, you've been up for like a very long time. And I'm just like, no, it's great. Like, so I don't know. I think it's just a chance to share joy, and that like, oh, in a couple of hours you'll be like this too, and it's gonna be okay. Hopefully right after your coffee.
I didn't really start seriously pursuing art until probably my sophomore year of high school, when I started on the AP studio art track. I would come in before school, I would work on my various projects. It wasn't until this summer that I began painting outside, which is called plein air painting. So typically you have to produce a plein air painting within an hour and a half, because by the time 90 minutes have passed, the light changes. Typically, I prefer to paint in the mornings because no one else is out. I get really self-conscious because I'm very aware of all of the flaws and the inadequacies that occur within my paintings. And plein air painting is very public. You're doing it outside. So to wake up early before the sunrise is not a very conventional thing to do in college, because that was a very normal thing for me to do in high school, to go early to school and work in a studio. And then I would go to bed at 10 and wake up at 6, and that was a normal schedule. But I enjoy the fact that there aren't a lot of morning people in college because it gives me that sense of solitude. It's a nice quiet time because when I'm painting, I'm completely immersed in it, and it gives very little leeway for my brain to think about other things. So it's really nice alone time to start off my day. I would definitely love to call myself a morning person. It's a little bit more respected to be a morning person, maybe. Maybe it just sounds better. But I can sleep in a lot. If I don't set an alarm, I just keep on sleeping, and sometimes it's a problem. But I would love to be a morning person, and I would call myself a morning person, but I'm probably not. It takes some coffee, and it takes a lot of self-discipline to actually be able to do it. But I know that if I keep on doing it, then I'll definitely get better, because that's the goal right now, is just to simply improve.
So I tend to wake up around 6:30 or 6:45 every morning, and I wake up and I'm like, why in the world am I doing this? And then I make my coffee, that's the first thing I do, and I drive out to the barn, and I get out my horse Astro, and I groom him off, and I ride him out into the field, and that's when I'm reminded why I do this every single day. The sun is rising and the fog is covering the fields, and it is beautiful. This summer I worked at the barracks, which is the farm where I currently keep my horse, and I was riding between 7 and 9 horses every single day. So I had to get out there early, and I started a habit of riding in the morning, and I absolutely love it because the barn is quiet. There are the guys who are mucking the stalls, but other than that, it's just me and the horses, so it's my one-on-one time where I can just spend getting to know the animal. This summer, I saw the sunrise for 17 days in a row. If I'm not riding in the morning, which is very rare, I tend to wake up early anyways because I've gotten so used to starting my day early that if I sleep in, I start to feel anxious, like I'm missing out on something. Waking up early has kind of made me the polar opposite college student. Everyone else is still sleeping in and staying up very late, and I have to go to bed really early to wake up really early. I would describe myself as a very extroverted person, but I also need my quiet time and my alone time. So not only does waking up early allow me to start my day and be more productive, but it also gives me quite a sense of peace because I know that the rest of the world is sleeping. So it really provides me just a very relaxing sense of fulfillment and wholeness that you don't really get if you are alone during the day. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." I'm just kidding. But really, the early bird gets the worm. When I wake up at 6:30, my entire apartment is silent, which it absolutely never is. So it's my one-on-one time. But probably one of my favorite things about waking up early is the drive out to the barn, and you get to pass gorgeous fields after gorgeous fields, and there's giant round hay bales or cows, and the fog is slowly rising as the sun rises. And it's kind of just like a subtle reminder that there's more than just papers and tests and exams. Like waking up early allows me to be productive in the morning and be reminded that there's a bigger world than just UVA, and horses have allowed that and facilitated it, and that is why it is one of my absolute passions.